Yo, what's going on YouTube? Year One Blink here, coming at you with the brand new TWAB this week at Bungie. So let's go check it out. We have sandbox updates 8-11 2022. So August 11th, 2022. So this week at Bungie, Sam wrote this. This week at Bungie, we have sandbox updates. Happy TWAS Day. TWAB Day, Guardians. First off, how is it already the second week in August? Secondly, how are we almost to the next season? Good news is that you still have time to wrap up your seasonal title. I'm only missing one more triumph, and I think that we're going to wear Arc 3.0. I can't choose between Geo Max Stabilizers or Crown or Tempest. I'm using Crown or Tempest. But sound off the socials and let you know what we're trying out first. All right, I think we should get into actual 12 now. Let's go into it, Guardians. Weapons and things. First up, we are going to jump right into the sandbox changes. So let me hand it right over to our associate designers to the sandbox team. Hello, everyone. Mercules here. We moved in a good bit of a balance changes for the season 18 forward to the mid-season patch of season 17. This will be a bit lighter of weapon sandbox swap than usual. That being said, there are still some changes really excited about, so let's dive in. Buffs from underutilized weapon archetypes, scout rifles and grenade launchers in PvE, high impact auto rifles, lightweight bows, buff multiple perks, fixed bugged perks, updated some perk descriptions and to be more accurate. Buffed multiple exotic weapons, added intrinsic anti-champion functionality to some, reworked a couple exotic weapons whose functionality was causing issues, updated the perk pools of Dares of Eternity weapons and gave them new origin trait. Ooh, okay. Might have to play some Dares of Eternity. Global changes, fixed an issue introduced in the 30th anniversary update that caused too much heavy ammo to drop when running double special weapons. Several weapon stats were previously hidden, which made fully evaluating weapons difficult. Airborne effectiveness, recoil direction, zoom, aim assist is now visible in the weapon inspection screen. Weapon archetypes. Scout rifles we felt like they could use a bit of love in PvE. Increased damage of scout rifles versus minor enemies, red bars in PvE by 10%. This change is addition to the baseline damage buff given to the Solstice Balance patch. High impact 360 RPM auto rifles. This subfamily of auto rifles has good damage output but low ease of use, leading them to underperform compared to other options at the same engagement ranges. Increased base ability stat of all non-sunset high impact auto rifles by 6 to 12, depending on the weapon. Numerically, this will seem like a small change, but it noticeably changes the feel of the weapons. Lightweight bows. You guys can check this out. I don't like bows at all. You guys can look at that though. Hand cannons. Fixed the dire promise zoom stat. Got changed from 13 inadvertently to now 14 again. Glaives. You guys can check that out if you want. You can pause the video if you have to. Grenade launchers, check it out, guys. Alright, this is stuff I'm into. Weapon pools, updated the perk pools of Dares and Eternity weapons and added an origin trait. Addressed issue where Crucible, Gambit, and Strike weapons weren't randomizing individual perks, column perks counts correct based on the number of resets. Perks, Gambit and Iron Banner traits were too specific, useful, and they're both been redesigned. Invader Tracker, Gambit origin trait, renamed Gun and Run. Redesigned functionality to give sprint, speed, increased multi-kills. Sulking Wolf, Iron Banner origin trait, redesign activate on kills while low health, so it will still work in PvP now. Ambition Assassin has fallen behind perks with similar functionality such as overflow. We've adjusted this to have higher potential than before. Increased magazine overflow from 10% to 20% per kill on primary weapons only. Special and heavy weapons are still 10%. Increased overflow cap from 50% to 150%. Wellspring had Wellspring Had an intentional cooldown to prevent it from activating frequently. We no longer feel this is needed. Cooldown has been removed, allowing rocket launchers and grenade launchers to return more ability energy when defending groups with a single shot. Defeating groups with a single shot. Perpetual motion was triggering frequently through enough to be annoying, so we disabled audio visual feedback on perk activation. Lead from gold wasn't respecting the functionality of splitting the special ammo picked up when 2 special ammos were equipped. Now it gives you the correct amount of ammo to each weapon when 2 special weapons are equipped. Concussion grenades can no longer roll on breach grenade launchers. Vice Stinger was intended to grant ammo on weapons that support it and charge draw time on bows only. This was inadvertently applying the linear fusion rifles as well, making it too strong for the origin trait on them. Fixed a bug. It was applying a charge reduction on linear fusion rifles. It will be correctly only to refill the magazine from reserves when it triggers on these weapons. Zen Moment has always had a description that confused players. Particle Repeater 2. Their descriptions have been updated to say what they actually do. Exotics. Okay, now we're going into the exotics. Buffs. We added anti-champion functionality to several weapons with the goal of giving more options for each champion type, split across the weapon slot of the ammo type. We expect to do this from time to time into the future as well. Lee Monarch. No. Added intrinsic overload to poison arrows. Thunderlord. Added an intrinsic overload. Malfeasance. Added intrinsic unstoppable to explosions. Okay. Added plus 25 to base airborne effectiveness stat, 28 to 53 to match other precision hand cannons intrinsic bonuses. That's pretty OP. Wish Ender added intrinsic anti-barrier, increased number of hits when targets from 2 to 3, more hits against vehicles, still 2 against players. Increased damage versus champions, majors, and mini bosses by 10%. Draw time decreased from 828 milliseconds to 820 milliseconds. TCU Divination gets a free small buff. Global lightweight bow charges. Draw time decreased from 612 to 580. Legends of Arceus has fallen far behind other heavy short-range weapons and warrants a buff. Catalyst now grants Trench Barrel perk in addition to other effects. Different versions of the exotic paired legendary weapons didn't have matching stats, so we have brought them up parity. Catalyst Mini Tool increased airborne effectiveness from 23 to 28 to match the Mida Tool. The Mida Mini Tool increased zoom from 13 to 14 to match Callus Mini Tool. Drain increased airborne effectiveness from 21 to 23 to match standard Drain. That's the Barquet. Drain Barquet. Sweet Business increased airborne effectiveness from 27 to 32. So they decreased their airborne effectiveness. Now they're increasing it. Would like you guys make up your mind? No, just joking. Fighting Lion Season 17 5% damage buff was rolled back as part of the fix for a larger bug. This is being introduced and reintroduced and increased. Now receives an intended buff from 5% to 8%. Increased the time for instant reload effect and thin of the herd from 5 to 6 seconds. All right, so we got some reworks. What is that? The new exotic pulse rifle from the raid. Lord of Wolves has been a thorn in the side of PvP players, especially when paired with certain exotic armor pieces. We have changed the amount of ammo it starts with and reduced the damage dealt to players. This is part of the larger rework aimed to making it more viable in PvE exotic without increasing the effectiveness of PvP. Decrease starting ammo from PvP to 10, from 15 to 10. Reduce the burst size shots fired per trigger pull from 10 to 5 shots when release the wolves is active. Reduce the burst delay, the time between bursts, from 60% when release the wolf is active. Decrease Lord of Wolves base damage by 20%. Now deals 35 per shot in body and PvP. 44 when you release the wolves is active. Increase damage by PvE 20% to compensate. Wow, that thing got nerfed to the ground, and now I'm going to sit on the ground. Dead Man's Tale, the cranial spike perk was causing issues with unattended damage scalars against players and generally felt unpredictable, both to use and fight against. It also wasn't quite landing the hip-fire cowboy rifle fantasy as strongly as we wanted to, so we reworked it to lean more fast-firing hip-fire. Change the Cranial Spike's effects. Cranial Spike no longer buffs damage versus players. Instead, it grants increased reload, aim assist, and ranged perk stat. That's pretty OP. I like that. Still grants damage versus PvE combatants. Upon reaching max stats of Cranial Spike, the Catalyst will now increase hipfire RPM by 50, and it will fire at 180 RPM, but will deal reduced damage per bullet, 20% decreased. Collective Obligation. We are aiming to make this exotic perk effects easier to activate, more effective in PvE. Increase Void Leech timer to 15 seconds in PvE activities. PvP remains at 10. Remove the cooldown. Added 20% bonus against PvE combatants when Void Leech is active. Takes less hits, fully Void Leech. Kills against debuffed targets instantly charge Void Leech. Void Leech is also instantly charged with your character affected by void debuffs. Does not work if hitting yourself with your own suppressor grenade. Fixed a bug where Umbral Subsistence was activating with non-void overshields. So we got armor with all the eyes. In the update 6.2.0.1, more on this version, players update section will be reintroducing the effectiveness and damage resistance of the Omulus Whisper of Chains PvP. Damage resistant is unchanged. Things we're looking to addressing in the future: Season 18, Season Patch, or Season 19. So this is the future for you guys. Reducing shotgun spread randomness, reducing bow swapping effectiveness, increasing trace rifle ease of use, introducing the full auto setting, reducing the ability for snipers to shoot through flinch in PvP. Yeah, because they're shooting me still. Like, what? Examining some small targeted balance changes in certain PvP outliers. Pulse rifles without a band effectiveness. High impact scout rifles, ease of use. Precision fusion rifles, ease of use. Allowing glaive interaction with some exotic armors that buff melees. Fixing glaive hit detection. Reworking some enhanced perks. Folding spec mods on base perks. Players should make sure they claim all their engrams and other rewards before the season begins, and rewards that are not claimed from ritual vendors. Live Zavala, Shax, Drifter, and Saint 14 before they will be removed in the beginning of the next season. So yeah, that's basically it, guys. To sum it all up, the Lord of Wolves is just getting nerfed in PvP. But yeah. If you guys enjoyed this week of TWAB, please make sure you guys subscribe. There it is. The nerf is coming. Have a wonderful day. Peace out.